The tech world recently experienced a collective panic attack when Anthropic announced their new model, Claude Mythos. They marketed it as a terrifying, world-altering event. Media heavyweights immediately amplified the dread. The New York Times ran a column warning that super-intelligent AI was arriving faster than anyone anticipated, treating this new software like a looming geopolitical threat. Anthropic's reasoning for this alarm was highly specific. They claimed Mythos was exceptionally skilled at autonomously finding and exploiting zero-day security vulnerabilities in computer code. By their logic, they had to halt its public release because the model was simply too dangerous for normal people to access. But look at this scale comparison. On the left is a representation of a massive, multi-billion parameter network like Mythos, and on the right is a tiny, cheap open-source model. When independent researchers took the exact vulnerabilities Anthropic used to scare the public, they ran them through the small models to test the claim. The tiny models found the exact same vulnerabilities. The flagship bugs that Mythos supposedly required terrifying new intelligence to uncover were easily detected by older, infinitely cheaper software. Mythos represents just a routine, incremental update. If the technology is actually pacing along normally, the dread surrounding it makes no economic sense. The Mythos panic is a calculated ghost story, a piece of marketing designed to mask a rapidly leaking industry bubble. The first real pressure point squeezing these AI companies is the technology itself. Large language models are incredibly capable, but they are hitting a rigid plateau when it comes to performing complex, multi-step actions. This map illustrates the difference between two types of problem-solving: interpolation and extrapolation. Inside the boundaries, nodes connect existing, known data points. That's interpolation, and AI is phenomenal at it. But look at the blank space outside the boundary. That requires extrapolation, the ability to push past known data to form new abstract theories. AI is strictly confined to the existing map. You can see how this limitation plays out in practice on this chart. This is a progress tracker from a recent UK AI Security Institute study, mapping how advanced AI agents perform on a 32-step capture the flag test. The Mythos agent pushed forward, but routinely stalled out, failing after just 22 of the 32 steps. It completely lost the plot before finishing. Because the technology is stalling at complex reasoning, AI developers are backed into a corner. They are forced to aggressively exaggerate minor software updates to maintain the illusion that progress is still growing exponentially. That illusion of exponential growth is required because of the astronomical financial burden hanging over these companies. Corporate leaders, like Anthropic CEO Dario Amodei, are burning billions of dollars in computing power to maintain valuations that reach into the tens of billions. To justify a $60 billion valuation, investors demand miracles. They expect a technology capable of fully replacing entire swaths of the global white-collar human workforce, generating hundreds of billions in corporate savings. Instead of a workforce replacement, Anthropic's flagship achievement with their most intensely trained model to date is a slightly better code debugging tool. When an astronomically expensive product fails to revolutionize the global economy, the creators have a serious problem. They must manufacture existential, world-ending hype to keep terrified investors writing checks. The final pressure point is the desperate hunt for stable government revenue. Recently, a massive $200 million intelligence and logistics contract with the Pentagon was put on the table. A severe conflict emerged over how the technology would be used. The military demanded unrestricted access for all lawful uses, but Anthropic refused to lift their internal safety restrictions, specifically keeping strict prohibitions against mass domestic surveillance and fully autonomous lethal weapons. The Pentagon's response was swift. They labeled Anthropic a supply chain risk, a designation usually reserved for foreign adversaries, and immediately triggered a phase-out of their software across the department. Sticking to their constitutional AI principles backfired on their balance sheet. Rival companies, eager for the cash, swiftly stepped in to claim the military contract and absorb that massive revenue stream. Squeezed out of stable, highly lucrative defense contracts, Anthropic is left holding a very expensive bag. They are now totally reliant on generating consumer hype and PR stunts to survive in a ruthless market. The Mythos announcement reveals the anatomy of a company hitting technical walls, bleeding cash, and losing crucial government lifelines. We should classify language models as advanced, capable software, moving away from descriptions that paint them as godlike entities or a new alien species. Think of an AI like a forklift. A forklift possesses superhuman lifting abilities. It can move pallets of heavy bricks humans couldn't dream of lifting. But it has no untouchable wisdom, no autonomy, and you wouldn't give a forklift access to your bank account. Moving forward, we should stop taking tech executive press releases at face value. When a company claims their new software is too dangerous for the public, we need to demand independent verification of those apocalyptic claims. By stripping away the manufactured plastic dread of tech marketing, we clear the air. We can finally assess and utilize AI for the flawed, realistic, and highly useful tool it actually is.
Don't take this trip away.